Welcome. This is your teacher David Garcia, and today we will continue working with the topic of parabola. And specifically, we will be focusing on writing the vertex form of the equation of the parabola when the vertex and the axis of symmetry, along with the length of the latus rectum, are given. So these probably are like the easiest problems there are since we have a lot of information. So let's begin the example. They give us a vertex. There we go. They give us a vertex at 8,6. And then they tell us that the axis of symmetry is found at x equals 8. Now, before I go on, this is just like an observation. We already know that the axis of symmetry for a parabola will always be cutting the parabola into identical parts or sections. So by looking at this, it becomes a little bit redundant. But anyways, it's just an observation in there. And finally, the length of the latus rectum is equal to 10. And along with this information, they tell us that a is less than 0. Now, why is this information important? Because let's remember that in either parabolas, being vertical or being horizontal, the length of the latus rectum is calculated as the absolute value of 1 divided by a. So in this case, a being less than 0, it indicates that the value will be negative. Along with that, we have all the information we require. So let's begin by identifying our h will be 8, our k will be 6. And in the same way as before, we have to decide whether this is a vertical or a horizontal parabola. Now, the good thing is that the axis of symmetry works exactly the same way. If you remember, we said that the axis of symmetry for vertical parabolas will be a vertical line where x equals h. And if it's horizontal, the axis of symmetry will be horizontal as well, where y equals k. So we automatically know, because of this information, that we are dealing with a vertical parabola. So from there, we just have to get a. And in this case, if you see that the length of the latus rectum is not a fraction. Okay, the only possible way for the length of the latus rectum to be a whole number is that in the formula where we have 1 over a, we're going to skip the absolute value because we already have the information. We already know that the answer will be negative. So we just have to remember that when we're doing the calculations. So 1 over a will equal 10. And if we isolate the a, we have that we will move the a. If it's dividing on this side, it will go multiplying. And then the 10 will be multiplying. So it will have to go to the other side dividing. So we basically have that 1 divided by 10 is equal to a. Okay. Now, corresponding to this piece of information, we know that the a will be negative. And if you see, we already have all the necessary information. This is negative 1 over 10. And being a vertical parabola, we know that we have to use this equation here. So y will be equal to negative 1 divided by 10 times x minus 8 squared plus 6. This is our final answer. So this variation is like one of the easiest ones. And that's it. I will see you in our next video.